Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Philly 4 podcast. And shocker, my friend John Marcus Kapoor is here with me. Today, we're talking Phillies, what we know about the Sixers schedule so far, and what games we're excited for, and those Big Ten rankings we promised you last time we recorded. Marcus, how are we doing today?
I'm doing all right. I would be doing a little better if the Phillies didn't suck. So here
That
and
would be
there, you
nice.
know.
Yeah, no, that would be great.
Yep.
Speaking of the Phillies, let's just get right into it. Last night they fell 2-0 to the St. Louis Cardinals.
hmm
And really, that was a very disappointing loss. And I didn't even get to watch most of the game because I had hockey and I was down at home. But I was coming up and I was driving down like after hockey at like 10, right? But I was listening to the game. And they had bases loaded, no outs, and Luis Ariz comes up and hits it in a double play. That's where I want to start
hmm
with the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Where I want to start is Luis Ariz made this huge impact, and we'll talk about the trade and what we gave up and whatever. But he made this huge impact in his first three games. RBIs and two of his first three looked really good. Looked like he gave this team some juice. But now he's like 0 for his last 15, and it's almost as if he finally he's a great contact hitter. He's a guy who's going to get on base. He's one of the best hitters in the game.
hmm
But he got Kevin Lawn as his hitting coach and just forgot how to hit. That's what it feels like.
That
Um,
that could be the problem.
you it just it makes you not feel good about the team. And I'm not saying the season's over because they have a bad stretch in early August.
hmm
But if in 10 days and it's August 20th and you're still looking this bad, you can't be too hopeful going into the stretch of the season. You just can't.
hmm
Like,
Yeah, I mean, last couple nights. Obviously, I think we won 2 nights ago, but last night it was just disappointing. The whole offense just didn't really show up. Um, we only had 5 guys with a hit last night. Schwarber had one, Turner had one, and then Stott, Marsh, and Bohm all had one. And they all, I mean, the offense, since the All Star break, even, the whole offense has just been very underwhelming, And then, I mean, Harper now, I think I saw he had some knee soreness in his move
yeah.
back to the outfield. That could be something not good. I mean, we messed with the whole thing. Bohm hasn't been that. I mean,
Oh, I
frankly,
will.
I think it's a downgrade.
I'll get to Boom.
I
Don't
think it has been a
worry.
downgrade since
Don't,
Bohm went to first because
don't,
I mean that's
don't
one of the
worry.
most important defensive positions on the field, and Harper is just better at first than Bohm was. Um,
Sure.
Stott's been all right at third. I feel like.
Stott. Well, the thing with Stott was he had played third originally.
Mm,
He came in playing third most days when we had Didi Gregorius and Gene Segura in 2022.
yeah.
So he played third originally then.
Mm,
So he's played some reps at third, and he's just so good defensively that I think he can figure it out anywhere.
yeah.
And he's been one of our best hitters since the All Star break. He's
Mm,
been actually genuinely really really good. Um, but the problem with this team, before I get to my whole Alec Bohm rant that might last the whole episode, is it feels like every night it's someone else's turn to mess up.
yeah.
Either the offense is great and we blow a lead with the bullpen, or somehow the starters have a bad night and the offense can't make up for it, right? Or the bullpen's great but we can't score runs. Like it just feels like every other game it's someone else's turn. Are you gonna be the one to lose the game, or are you gonna be the one to lose the game, or is it gonna be you? It's always something. And
hmm
when you have a team this talented, it shouldn't be that way. And
Yeah.
and the only reason we're so worried about it is because we know how good they are. We know that if you get the Dodgers in a 3 or 5 game series, you can win that series, but you're not showing that as a team right now. That's the problem. You're not
hmm
proving it to us at August 12th, right? That's the problem with this team. They're not showing what they need to be showing for them to have a successful October.
And we obviously have the talent. I mean, I think me personally, I think we have 4 of the best athletes, like just raw baseball players in the National League. I mean, with Schwarber, Harper, Turner, and then Era's coming in too. Like that's four incredible baseball players, and they're just not doing anything.
The thing with the Phillies, and they're so talented, I agree with you. Like, okay, go through the list. Arise, great contact hitter, always hits an insane average, doesn't strike out, right? Harper's
Hmm.
Bryce Harper. Everyone knows what Bryce Harper can do. Cal Schwarber is a great bat. He can just hit for power. Bryson Stott's a great defensive player no matter where you put him, apparently. He's been solid defensively and hitting this season. Trey Turner, speed, contact hitting when he's on. Really good baseball player. Um, you even get to like the outfield. Brandon Marshall's great in the first half of the season. Justin Crawford's been good. Like Derek Hill's had like 100 walk-offs at this point, right? Like there's talent on the team, but they're not showing it. And don't even get me started. The pitching staff's great, right? Like the top three of Luzardo, Wheeler, Sanchez, and obviously that's not the order, but like that pitching staff's great, and you have even guys in the bullpen that should be great, but they're not,
Hmm.
and that's the problem, right? And that's why you can't let stretches like this be like, oh, season's over, because you know how talented they are. Say they're hot a week before the playoffs and they sneak in and they're super red hot and they somehow make a run. Like that's how hot and cold the team is. And like I was talking to my dad and he was like, well, what if they get super hot 2 weeks before and they win the World Series because they're just super hot?
I mean, that
Like,
could happen. This
like you
team is
can't
hot and cold. We
you
have
can't
very
get
hot
too,
stretches, very
yeah,
cold stretches. That could happen. Do I think it will happen? Not
probably
at all.
not. But you can't get too up and down with the team because like you can't ever give up on the team, especially if they're in a postseason series, because if they put it together, they're the second best team, very close to being the best team over the Dodgers.
Hmm.
Like in that Dodgers series, the one game they won last year, they murdered the Dodgers,
And even when
and
we had the Dodgers in Philly,
it was a
when we had the
Yama,
Dodgers in Philly a couple weeks ago, we
yeah,
played them
and
pretty well.
And in the playoffs last year, we beat them, and the World Series MVP, Yoshinobu Namamoto, was the one on the mound, and we scored 10 runs on them.
Hmm.
So you can't sit there and say this isn't a contender when they have all the pieces together. But when they have the pieces together, it never seems to be at the right time. And that's the
Hmm.
problem with this team. And another problem with this team, aside from the bullpen blowing leads, aside from the shaky offense at nights, aside from the starter situation, the biggest problem with this team is your starting first baseman in Alec Bohm.
Yeah,
And that can't happen on a contending team like this. And people,
obvious. Yeah, and first base is in the infield. It's probably the most important position.
and to me, it's not even about the position premium. It's more about just how bad of a baseball player Alec
Yeah.
Bohm is. Like Alec, people might be listening to this and saying Alec Bohm isn't the biggest problem. No, you haven't been watching. He had bases loaded, extra innings the other night, and he got like a pitch that is impossible to pop out on, and he popped out like in the infield.
Yeah,
It's like that
he's just
was
been making stupid mistakes, and
when the lights get bright, he doesn't do well. And to start, Alec Bohm doesn't do anything special to make you want to keep him. Go through the list. Trey Turner, incredible bat, good speed whenever he's on. Luis
mhm.
Ariz, contact hitting more than anyone in the league. Bryce Harper's Bryce Harper. He could give you 3 homers any night, 3 homers, a double, and a walk, right? Kyle Schwarber's Kyle Schwarber. He'll give you like 4 homers and a grand slam on one night. Bryson Stott, in my opinion, the best defensive infielder in the National League potentially.
I would agree with that.
Brandon Marsh, contact hitting, speed.
Marsh can also hit with the long ball too.
Exactly. Derek Hill, shockingly, has been clutch this year.
Hmm.
Uh, Justin Crawford gives you a similar bat to Luis Ariz, where he'll slap and get you on base, right? What does Alec Bohm do that makes you think, oh, he's worth keeping the lineup? I can tell you, it's not speed. It's not a consistent bat. It's not defense. What is it?
He
What
gets
it what
errors pretty
what
well.
what is it that he was a high draft pick and you don't want to look bad? You already look bad for picking him as high as you did. That's out the window. He doesn't defend. He's not fast. Every time he hits a double play, he gets out. He's not clutch. If he comes up, runners are first and third, to one out, that double play is happening 10 out of 10 times. And now he's gone from fourth in the lineup or fifth in the lineup to seventh or eighth.
Yeah.
Because they're starting to wake up and realize, okay, at bats like the last series against the Blue Jays where he failed like 4 times with bases loaded, clutch situation, and extra innings or bottom of the ninth. Those situations when he fails are the reason he's not going to be a Philadelphia Philly next year, and he's going to be a Pittsburgh Pirate or a New York Yankee or anything but a Philly.
I don't even think the Yankees would want him.
No, well they're dumb. So,
Yeah.
but there's like when you watch him play, you see very evidently that's why he's not going to be here.
Hmm.
That's why in the offseason, if Bo Bichette opts out of his contract, they're going to go after him, or they're going to try and trade for someone, or hopefully Aiden Miller's healthy, or Sosa's going to be your third baseman, or Stott's going to stay there, or whatever needs to happen to get Alex Bohm off this team is going to happen. And that can't be the case when you feel like, okay, we have a solid infield, but like Brandon, like Alec Bohm is a problem, right? Like that's you can't be looking down your lineup and saying this guy we picked high in the draft when he was a prospect, coveted as a prospect, developed here, put him in the lineup, hoping he'd be good. He was good for half a season in 2024, hasn't gone back to that. We're just gonna hope he figures it out.
I do kind of like the idea of Sosa at third because he kind of plays all around the field. Do you think that Mattingly maybe could be making a decision like that?
The Sosa thing is like, well, it's hard now with Stott at third
Yeah.
because you're not sitting him.
I mean, put Sosa at first because I don't know if he has experience at first, but
I feel
he's
like he's played
his
almost
raw
everything.
infielding abilities.
Well, I liked what they've done with the first baseman situation. I honestly think Schwarber's not even like he's a better first baseman than Alec Bohm.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think
So,
Schwarber messed up anything at first, and yet they keep defensive substituting Bowman. Makes no sense to me. But I would if they're gonna try it, I would think they would try it soon.
yeah.
Like you can't try it when you get to August 24th or by the time we're back in school and the season's coming to an end and you're looking forward to
Mhm.
October, that that's not the time to try Sosa at first. But I think if you want to try it, and I think they should, I think now is a pretty damn good time to try it. Um, if they're going to, but like I don't know. I mean, Luis Ariz needs to figure it out and figure it out fast. He was supposed to be
Mhm.
the deadline acquisition that came in and really gave you an extra jolt, right? Um, but he
Yeah.
just hasn't been that since the first few games. Before we move on to the Sixers,
Well, I want to talk some standing stuff first. So right now, I think a while back we were going into the break around then. I think we were maybe two
yeah,
games behind Atlanta
sure,
for the division. Right now we're 8.5 games back. So their lead kind of keeps setting on. And even at the wild card, we were pretty firmly in the wild card a couple weeks ago. And right
now they're
now
tied.
it's a three-way tie with Arizona and San Diego. So I mean, if we lose our next game and they both win, that puts us out of the playoffs right now.
Yeah,
Like that's scary with
and
the
that
team that's
should
been
be.
playing like this.
And again,
With this
they're
roster, we
so
should
much
be
better
a
than both
playoff
those
lock.
teams.
Yeah, that's not good.
But what I was gonna say before I said, and that was great actually. I forgot about the standings and how absolutely atrocious that situation is, and they're like 10 games behind the Braves, so it's not looking like that's gonna happen.
Mm.
Um,
Even 6.5 behind Chicago.
it the lineup for today, they're playing in 5 minutes from now. Um, it's Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Arise, Stott, Marsh, JT, Bohm, Crawford, and the Wheelers starting. So again, Bohm's in the lineup at first, but he's batting eighth. Like, he's a problem, man. And it feels like you can't waste this season, but with what they did at the deadline and the disappointing offseason they had, it feels like they are kind of wasting this year. And
Yeah,
it
and
sucks.
we only have so many years left with
I think they
that
only have like
big three
two.
of
They have
Schwarber,
2
Turner, and
years.
Harper in their primes.
Yeah, after this year, I think they only have 2 more years, maybe three, if they somehow get Schwarber, Harper, and Turner to be really good for an extra year. But they don't have a lot of time, and
And
the
they're all
CBA
getting older.
might eliminate one of the years.
Hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens then, right? I mean, they're a team. They're a baseball team. Um,
Yeah,
and there's really not much more to say, right? Like the bullpen's atrocious. My boy Ryan Kirker, he can't hold people for the life of him. He, kind of, you know, shits the bed when runners are on like when runners are on base. He gets so scared and messes up every time. But meanwhile, he's the one who put them on the base.
yeah.
It's there's so many problems with the bullpen that like Alvarado can't hit the strike zone.
With
It,
Wheeler pitching tonight, that should be
it's so
an
bad.
improvement.
The other night when they won against St. Louis, God Madden, we said if that went into extra innings, they would have had to pitch Garrett Stubbs. Not a joke. And he's also not trending to be the next manager.
No, I
He's
think
made
he's
so
interim
many
right now.
mistakes.
I think we're definitely going to try to go out and get
Yes.
someone. I mean, he had
Probably
us in a
Alex
pretty good
Cora.
stretch before the break, but
Yes.
after,
Probably Alex Cora, the former Red Sox guy, which wouldn't be bad. Um, but he just has made so many mistakes just in the regular season. And if we make the postseason, I have a feeling that's going to come back to bite us. Um, but I mean, yeah. I mean, there's so many things wrong with this team right
if
now.
I don't even think that this team can make the play. If they don't make a change, I don't think this is a playoff team looking in September, October.
Maybe not. I'll tell you one thing that would suck
Hmm.
because
With all the talent on this roster, it's just so disappointing to see.
this team should be a playoff team. It would
It should
rob
be a team.
us.
It should be a team competing for a World Series.
Yes, and when they're playing well, they are, but like they're not.
Well, when they play like they do right now, which is way more often than it should be, they play like a team who can't win 90 games. I don't know.
And I don't want to talk about the offseason till it gets there, but looking back at last offseason, they didn't do enough to improve the team like they always do. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like every deadline and every deadline and every offseason, it's like okay offseason didn't do enough, or every deadline it's a good deadline, but it still didn't do enough.
Do you think that the Erez trade has improved the team, or do you think it's been done more bad than good?
It definitely hasn't done more bad just because his bat in the first few games was great, and this team at the state that they were in couldn't get much worse.
Hmm.
Um, I think it has improved the team just because I think the defensive things are easy to work out. Like this team's defense doesn't really matter, right? Like, what are you going to get worse than being the worst at defense? I would have preferred if they would have made Turner go back to center, right?
Yeah.
Um, then Stock could have stayed at, or sorry, Stock could have played short.
Boom.
Bohm could have played third, and Harper didn't have to go back to the outfield. Not
Yeah.
because I have a problem with that, just because I feel like he might get injured. But it definitely has improved the team in my eyes. Just not like again, good trade makes the team better. We'll see how it works out. Not enough.
Yeah.
For really being hypocritical, they should have went and gotten a starter. They should have gotten a few more bullpen arms. They should have probably gotten another bat. Good trade deadline, not enough. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line. But now let's go to something more positive, and that is the most positive thing in the city of Philadelphia right now. The Philadelphia 76ers, some of their key schedule games have been released, and I am very, very excited for the season to kick off. And obviously the full schedule is going to come out Thursday, a day
hmm
from today. Um, so we'll probably go through and highlight some more of our favorite games when that comes out next time we record. But right now, we'll react to what we know.
Mm.
And here is what we know so far. So yesterday, they released three very, very key games for the Philadelphia 76ers. And hold on, pressed the wrong button there. And the games are the Christmas Day game in
That'll be fun in LA,
LA. Let me just get Sixers up.
especially with the NFL. I don't think the NFL had that great of a slate for
Yeah,
Christmas.
and
I think that
if we're
they
being
have
real,
Rams
that's
Seahawks. They have Rams Seahawks that night, but the day games aren't really that great for the NFL. So I think that could be the yeah, I like that graphic, but I think that'll be the premier sports game of that day.
so. Before we talk about the Christmas Day game, let's go in order. 10-20, October 20th, at 7 p.m. Sixers v Knicks. Banner night for the
NBC too.
boys in New York and the Knicks. So
hmm
it will be somewhat poetic for the new most improved team in the NBA to go against the former NBA champions on the night that
The reigning NBA champs. Yeah,
they get their rings and they get their
asses kicked.
yes, and they get their banner raised, which will
hmm
be a very cool night. Um, Another important thing to note about these games is just give me a second.
I really like that doubleheader too that night because it's us at New York and then right after that it's rematch of the Western Finals with San Antonio OKC. That's gonna be a fun doubleheader.
Yeah, so that opening night schedule is really good. Um,
Mm-hmm.
October 20th at 7 p.m. They open up against New York in New York at Madison Square
hmm
Garden. It's going to be a really cool game. I thought that's what they would have done. And that's what I would have done if I was the commissioner.
And tickets right now are going as low as $2,500.
It's
So
going to be very hard to go watch your basketball team play basketball.
hmm
I'll tell you that right now. Second game to talk about is the home opener for the Philadelphia 76ers. October 22nd, LeBron's first home game as a Sixer against his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers, which he declined to go back to this offseason to come here. That's a very, 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 very interesting game.
hmm
Two
It's gonna
teams
be a
that,
good game too. Cleveland was one of the best teams in the East last year. I mean, with Mitchell and Harden, that's gonna be a really good offense we have to go against.
yeah, and it's probably two teams that are going to be in the top five of
The
the
Eastern seeding.
East,
Yeah.
right? It's going to be very, very, very interesting that game. It was definitely an interesting game for them to schedule, right? Like I thought maybe they
Mhm.
would have done like a just like a Detroit or a Boston or like something like or maybe like a irrelevant team in the East just to get LeBron and like have that shine on him and him not being so early of him going against the Cavs, right? I thought they would have saved that for later. But I
hmm
mean, hey, it's a pretty fun game and they're both very talented teams. Um, but a game that the Sixers don't usually get, at least not against this opponent, is LeBron and the Sixers face Luka and the Lakers on Christmas Day
hmm
at 5 p.m. So Philly sports will dominate your Christmas I guess like what weekend. Um,
Yeah. When did the Eagles play?
Birds play at December 24th at
Christmas Eve
7
game. Yeah, they play the
or
Christmas
8
Eve game.
against the Dallas
Mhm.
Cow. No, who do they play?
I think. Oh no, they play the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Let me check who they play.
But anyway, Sixers, Lakers, Luca and his white boy squad of Lakers going against LeBron and his very not white boy squad
They
of the
play Houston.
76ers.
They play the Texans.
Yeah.
That's going to be good. The Texans
So
probably
you
have
get
the second or third best defense in the NFL
so
too
you get
going
the
into this
Houston
year.
Texans versus the Philadelphia Eagles the night before, and then you get to eat good with Sixers Lakers in LA on Christmas Day. So
5 o'clock. And then also, can I highlight a couple other games
yeah,
that they've released for the NBA Cup?
yeah.
So it looks like we play the night before Halloween, October 30th. The Knicks come into town. That'll be a that'll be a rocky environment. That'll be fun. It's going for 881. That's a little out of my price range, but I don't go there. And then 6 days later, or I think 8 days later, LeBron makes his return to Cleveland. They
Yeah.
play at Cleveland, another big game, and then the other NBA Cups they have the night before Thanksgiving. We play Miami at home. That's another
Mm-hmm.
team LeBron played for. That'll be a 5 o'clock ESPN on the night before Thanksgiving. That's a fun game. That might be. It's looking like 446 right now. That might be a more affordable ticket. I still don't think I'm biting on that one. But and then the Black Friday we go to Indiana to play. I mean, Halliburton's going to be healthy. That's going to be a scary Indiana team next year with Halliburton
Mm-hmm.
and Siakam both healthy. So yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a hard schedule with the East this year. The East has been really weak these last couple years, and then all of a sudden it's looking way stronger than the West, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The West just looks really top heavy
Yeah.
with San Antonio and OKC.
My question to you, Margus,
Hmm.
is out of the what 4, 5, 6, 7 games we know,
Hmm.
what are you most looking forward to watching?
Honestly, I think that first game, October 20th, if we can silence the Garden, that's my favorite thing to see. Like when Halliburton did it a
Yeah,
couple years ago, that was the best when he hit that shot. If we could, I honestly think we just go in and obliterate them, and the Garden's quiet by the middle of the third quarter.
and
I would
everyone,
love to
yeah,
see that so much.
on
But
the
that
win
Christmas
night,
guy, I don't watch a lot of NBA Christmas. I'm usually an NFL Christmas guy, but
really.
I'll definitely be watching this year
Only
with
reason
when we
I
go to
ever,
LA.
the only reason I'm more of an NFL guy isn't because I want to, it's because like my great grandpa is always with us on Christmas,
Hmm.
and he always wants to watch football, not basketball.
Yeah.
So I
I mean,
never
there
really
have been a
get to.
couple good games last couple years. I think there was a Lakers Warriors game that was really good a couple years ago, but they're not as common as the NFL games.
Yeah. Um, for me, a game I'm really looking forward to, and probably not my not the one I'm most looking forward to, but like second, because like obviously I'm looking forward to the most is that opening night against the Knicks.
Yeah.
But of the games we know, I think that Heat game, that November 25th, yeah, on ESPN, Sixers Heat in Philly, NBA
Hmm.
Cup game at 5 p.m. That's a game I'm very interested in because I want to see how
Yeah.
that Giannis look Heat team looks,
That's that's
and by
that's gonna
then
be a
we'll
fun
know.
team next year. Yeah.
And by then we'll know if the spacing and the depth really matter as much as I think it does on that team.
Mm.
And well, it's also another team LeBron played for. And on top of
Yeah.
that, it's another team LeBron rejected to signing with. Like
Hmm.
those games are going to be very interesting. The games of Golden State, I guess Golden State, Miami, Cleveland, and maybe even LA. Like those games of those teams
Hmm.
are going to be very interesting because it's like LeBron didn't go there, so there's going to be some sort of storyline for everyone to talk about. And a
It's
new
always
look,
fun to watch LeBron in Cleveland too. That
yes,
November 6th game is gonna
yeah,
be emotional
but a
for
new
sure.
a new look Sixers team against a new look Heat team that I don't think is going to be very good. And I think they're going to
I
make
don't know
the.
that they're gonna have the best starting front court in the NBA. I just don't
I
know
just
what else they'll have.
I don't think they'll have anything else. I like Davion Mitchell, but like
He's not
it's
Tyrese
Davion
Maxey.
Mitchell.
He's not Jalen
It's
Brunson. You know.
nah. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Davion Mitchell has a breakout year. Who knows?
Yeah.
And maybe their bench somehow is good
Hmm.
somehow. Um,
By
but
the way, did you see that LeBron said that he'd be running point guard this year?
yeah, I saw a bunch
I
of stuff
I,
about
I like
that.
that because Maxey has played a lot of off ball when Simmons and Harden have been the point guards.
Yes.
I think that'll help. And LeBron, I mean, he's one of the best passers in NBA history, one of the best ball handlers too. I think that could really, because I was mainly thinking of him as playing a four, but him playing a one, moving JB down to like a 3-4 hybrid, moving Edgecombe to like a 3-4-2. I guess, and then having Maxey as a two. That'll be really interesting to see. I think that could be really good.
What I was thinking and what I was a little concerned about with that was if they play him at like the true point guard, like on the lineup sheet, right? Like if it
Hmm.
goes LeBron at the point, like on the paper, right? Like LeBron at the point, Maxey at the two, JB at the three, and then maybe
Yeah,
like like maybe if you
Edgecombe's
slide,
gonna be the four.
if you whatever, right? I would rather him just play like a point forward role, like it's the same thing to me. Just play him on paper as the four, so it looks nicer, almost.
Hmm.
And just have him dribble up the ball. And I don't
Yeah,
know, and with the ins
I
and
mean,
out, like I know enough basketball to talk it and like know it a little bit, but I don't know like the schemes wise. I think you know a little more than me in that
mhm,
regard. If we want to talk systems and everything, this is not the sport for me to do it. The sport for me to do it is ice hockey.
mhm,
Um, but that was my one question with that was like, is he going to be on the lineup sheet when they post the lineup, him at the actual true point, or
mhm.
and that was my one
It's
concern.
it's not. I mean, that day. The one other thing I was thinking
But I
about
guess
is that
to,
with him at
just
point, we don't have another
yeah,
big besides Embiid, and Embiid. Like I'm gonna be honest, he's lazy when he has to go get rebounds and all that stuff. We're not gonna have another guy if he's playing around the perimeter.
he's
I mean,
looking slim though.
Jacob Brown 6'6", VJ Edgecombe 6'4". I
Yeah.
mean, so that's not gonna be good. But I don't know. And Embiid's not
I
gonna
don't
get
know.
all active and stuff
We'll
too.
see.
But
And I think Embiid will shock a lot of people. I think he'll change his role a little bit. I think he's going to be a better rebounder this year. He's looking really good in the gym, right?
yeah,
Um, he looked very slim. He looked like the best he's looked since maybe even like the first time he's played a basketball game. Um, so very, 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 very excited for the season. We'll see
mhm,
how it all works out. We'll see. We'll do our reaction to the full schedule next time we record, depending on what day that is. We might also do our NBA standings like
yeah,
preview. Maybe we'll say that for
mhm,
late September. Um, I'll definitely by then do my hockey and we'll do our football
yeah.
predictions. We'll do that in one show. I'll talk hockey. I'll educate your uneducated but about hockey, and we'll talk a little bit of football for at least a few of the divisions next time we record. But let's lock in on some college football.
All right,
It
yeah.
is the only conference I really watch, and this is the last conference we will be previewing before the next episode, where we talk about our college football playoff
Mhm.
predictions. Next episode, the Big Ten,
Yeah,
with
and I just think personally the Big
with what
Ten,
just with
it's
what
gonna be
happens to
fun this
be
year.
with what happens to be the conference that our two favorite teams are both in, at least until we go to a different college in Indiana and
I'm like 50-50
Penn
personally with
State.
IU Alabama,
I
but
have a very shocking number four that we will talk about, and I have an explanation for it, besides
all right.
my bias. But we'll start. Number one, you have Indiana, I have Ohio State.
I don't
Um,
hate that. I think it's one A B C. I think you put them in any order. I think Indiana has the best coaching. I also think Josh Hoover, when he was at TCU, he had a lot less than what Julian Sayin has had at Ohio State, and I think he's gonna be a lot close. I'm not saying he's gonna have the resources Sayin will have next year at IU and Ohio State, but with Nick Marsh and Charlie Becker, he's gonna have a lot better receivers than he did, and I think. I mean, we're going to see on October 17th when they play, but I think Indiana will slightly be better, and that game will be in Bloomington too, which gives them the advantage.
so for me, and my Ohio State number one ranking, because we'll just go down the list here, and then we'll talk after we talk the top three, because we had the same top three, just different order. So we'll talk about our thoughts on that. Ohio State. As Ohio State, they're a really good football team. Last year, they went undefeated in the regular season, conference, and regular games. Um, Julian Satan's still there. Jeremiah Smith's still there. They have a bunch of talent. They have a great year to build off of. They still have the same coaches. They have at least just their head coach. They're a great team. They're a program that doesn't really falter a lot. I liked what I saw from them last year, and also with me, I feel like the team that wins the conference, at least this era of um
College
what's your face
football.
college football. I can't believe I just forgot what sport we're talking about. Um, the winner of the conferences don't tend to do super great in the playoff. Right,
Yeah,
just some off the top of my head. So
except Indiana, but
that's probably that they don't count.
that's the exception. Because
Yes.
Georgia, they've won two straight SEC championships and they've lost two straight college football games. And the winner of the Big
Oregon.
Ten, yeah, the winner of the
Yeah.
Big Ten, Oregon was bounced in the Rose Bowl. And Ohio State, they finished second last year and they got
Yeah.
whooped by Miami, who
So I
I
think
personally think Miami
that's
had the advantage by not playing in a conference championship.
yes. Um, I think that's part of it. Like part of my rankings, like I don't think they're going to do super great in the playoffs because I think it's other teams' time to come up and take some real take some teams off the top. As far as the playoff goes, so I think that kind of puts some of my thoughts to why they're one. I can understand the Indiana number one thing, but let's just go to our number two, where you have Ohio State, and I want to hear
Hmm.
kind of what you think about the Buckeyes this year.
Yeah, I think they're my number two in the country. So I have Big Ten, I have one and two. Oregon's my number four too, if that counts for anything. So I think it's gonna be the best conference in college football again this year. I'm pretty sure it has the national champion winner, but I don't think it's gonna be my one or my two. But yeah, I just think they have the best roster in the conference. They just don't have the coaching edge. And then I think Jeremiah Smith is gonna be scary. And he's my very early Heisman pick. I
That's
haven't
what I
really
was gonna
thought too
say.
much about it. But yeah, I think he plays a lot different than Devontae Smith played. But I think maybe he's gonna be more like kind of Julio Jones. If that was a little while ago, but just very dominant, like deep ball threat, fade threat, just anywhere on the field when he gets the ball, he's just scary. And I
Just
think
a really good
him
football
him and
player.
say yeah him and saying year two together, I think it's gonna be like it's not gonna be pleasant for defenses in the Big Ten or for
No, it's
Texas in
not.
week two.
That's a game I'm very like. For me with college football, I haven't watched it a ton, and usually I miss some of the key games because I'm like whatever. My team's usually like whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
that's a game I'm excited to watch. That
hmm
Texas Ohio State game, and that could be a real implication for the playoff because Ohio State does have a really hard stretch in their schedule.
hmm
They have, I believe, Oregon, Indiana, and USC in a 3 week stretch.
yeah,
So if they
and
lose that
they
Texas
have
game,
Iowa early too, and they have
yeah. So if they lose that
obviously the
Texas
Michigan
game,
late.
if they yeah, obviously. Um, so if they lose that Texas game early, it could spell some woes for them. And also, if Texas loses that game, I mean that could be a very interesting matchup for both teams, and could ultimately be the reason one of the two don't make the playoff if they have a down year.
That's what happened last year. If Texas didn't play that game last year against Ohio State, I mean, they would only had two losses. They would have been a playoff team over, say, like they had a stronger strength schedule than Miami. They would have been in over Miami last year, and that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, but for my number two, I have Oregon,
Hmm.
and there's two reasons I think mainly. Like they ended up having, a great year last year. They had 11. They were 11-1. They lost to Indiana, but their quarterback Dante Moore stayed rather than going to be a New York Jet potentially. Which respect to him, I would have done the same thing. Um, they've gone through what I like to call earning your stripes the past few years in the playoff. Right? They had the great year where they were the best team in the Big Ten a few years ago, and they had they got their butt kicked by Ohio State that year. Last year they didn't have a rather impressive playoff to me. Last year they still
I
have a
mean, yeah,
lot of
they they
talent there.
they
They still
beat
have
JMU and Texas Tech. That was really
yeah,
a
but
Texas Tech team, but that
but
Texas
those
Tech
weren't
team didn't
really
have the
two.
talent of Oregon.
Like I felt like they should have won both those games. And it
Yeah.
wasn't super like prove we're like a top team. Right? Like I thought if they were gonna do that, they would have like maybe even won the whole thing, and they just didn't.
I mean, they saw Indiana and they first play pick six, and
And
nothing
it
really
just
went their way
didn't
that game.
really. And like I feel like didn't they get blown out in that game if I remember correctly, or was
Yeah, it
it like
was
a
it was a
yeah?
whooping.
So every time they've lost in the playoff now, it feels like they've gotten their ass kicked and they just never really had a chance.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was
feel like this is a real
22-56.
yeah. So I think this is the real year where they're like, okay, no, we're not going to get our butt kicked in the playoffs. This is the year we take it the step. We're not going to let people just push us around when we get to the big stage. And this is the year we're going to prove we're who we think we are, right? Like
Hmm.
there's those years with contenders after they have a few blowouts in the playoffs or they're disappointed in a few years in the big stage. I think this is the year Oregon really proves why they're Oregon, right? I think I love Dante Moore. I think they have what's his name, Dylan Raiola as a two.
Yeah, he's gonna be their backup, and they're still
Um,
gonna have.
Obviously their coaching staff, relatively to my knowledge, remain the same. Um,
Oh no, they lose Will Stein. Will Stein was their coordinator.
yes,
He's going to
yeah,
Kentucky. He's gonna be at Kentucky this year. But I mean, with the Oregon, they should backfill that pretty well. And
pretty
obviously,
easily.
Dan Lanning, I think
Dan
he's
Lanning
been
is
he's been
always
due
a
up for
great
a
coach.
national championship for a while. I think this is the year they make the. Even though they're not the best team in the Big Ten, I think we've seen teams in the conference championship games wear themselves out and having other teams. Like just a couple years ago, Oregon and Penn State played for the Big Ten championship, and they were kind of banged up when it came to the playoff. And Ohio State just came through and kicked
Penn
everybody's
State
ass.
was this close, 10-point game
Yeah, and then
back in
Drew
the day.
Allard did. That was Drew
Drew
Allard's fault,
Aller,
not James Franklin.
that's my guy though. We don't talk down on Drew Aller. Okay. Um.
Pittsburgh
But
Steeler.
yeah, I think Oregon's gonna be great. I guess the what's it called? Oh my god, conference championship game thing for me. I guess isn't really too relevant here because I have Oregon number two.
Hmm.
Um. Because you have
I mean,
them
it
not
really just
making it.
depends who wins the big games. With
Yeah.
or Oregon plays at Ohio State. Ohio State plays at Indiana. All right, you're gonna talk our fours.
We can
I want to
definitely talk our fours.
hear
Now I
I want to hear what
believe
you say first.
okay, so my four is very, very, very different from everything else I've heard from almost everyone. Um,
Hmm.
and it's you might be thinking it's biased, but it's the Penn State Nittany Lions, and here's why. They brought over almost all of the Iowa State team with their new coach Campbell, right?
Hmm.
They brought a lot of stars for that team, and it's basically just Iowa State, but in the Big Ten. Right? They have the duo of the tight ends. I think
Who
their name.
went 7-5 last year? Ooh.
Relax. I'll explain that in a minute. Okay. Um. Right. I think they have a great. I think Matt Campbell's a really good coach. I think that's going to work out well. I think. How do you say it? Rocco Beck? Beck.
Rocco Becht.
He is going to be great. I think. Obviously, you lost denied. What is it? Denied Dennis Sutton to the Packers in the NFL.
Hmm.
But they kept Rojas and they kept some
Yeah.
of their guys and they got some great guys from transfer portal, mainly Iowa State. And the big thing for me um, with Penn State is the all important schedule. And I'll pull it up and I'll put it on the screen because
It's
it is
easy.
not a very hard schedule. And I think that's what gets them to be a top four team in the
Hmm.
in the uh, in the conference.
Personally,
So Penn State,
I think James Franklin would have done more. I think James Franklin was a better coach. I do think it was his time to go, but yeah. And yeah, I mean, they dodged top three teams in the conference. They play no one in the out of conference. They get
listen
USC at home. That'll be
here.
a fun environment. But I have them
Let
as my
me read this
sixth.
schedule
Not
off
that bad.
and stop me when you let me read the schedule off. And stop me when you hear a really really tough game.
Mhm.
Marshall, Temple, Buffalo, Wisconsin, Northwestern.
That,
I think those
that,
are the
that,
two.
that, that's trap. Northwestern's the trap game. They beat them last year in Happy Valley. It's a underrated
Maybe,
Big Ten team every year.
maybe.
All right, USC. I think they
USC and
win.
Michigan are the two that
You're
those
forgetting
are the
one.
tough games. And
Uh,
what?
I Washington. At
Washington at
Washington, I don't think
Washington.
they win that. I think they lose at Michigan at Washington. I think they'll take care of USC. I think I have
So
USC as
then
my.
you look up and they're 10-2, and I think they're a playoff team.
I don't. I if it was between them or a 9-3.
That's the
If,
way I
if
look
it's
at it
between them and
is
a if it's between them and a 9-3 Michigan team, it goes to Michigan every time. Who
I
loses
don't
to
know.
Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State? Because
I think
Michigan
if
plays
they
all of them.
show if they have a few of the statement wins against the bad teams like they should, I could see a world where it is, and maybe I'm being just it's my last year probably as a Penn State fan, so I'm kind of hoping they do something different. Um, but like I think the schedule is easy enough where they make the playoff. And I don't want to say who I don't have making the playoff because I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean we do our player predictions that other time. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk about my four. I think USC, they play a harder schedule than Penn State. I think Penn State does beat them when they come into Happy Valley um in October. It's Lincoln Riley's make or break year. They have to play the top three teams in the conference. They get Ohio State and Oregon and Washington in the Coliseum though, which I think will be good. They obviously lose Blitnikoff winner Makai Lemon to the NFL, but they bring in Terrell Anderson from NC State. He was really good last year. Mayaba's coming back from his senior year. I think it's a dangerous offense. Does Lincoln Riley take advantage of it? It could look like some vintage Oklahoma Caleb Williams ball, but I mean, yeah, you won't know. For my five, I think we both agree on. Oh no, UVOC over Michigan. Okay, actually we both do, but yeah, I just think Whittingham's a really good coach. Um, Bryce Underwood's going to continue his development, and it's going to be a classic Wolverine defense. Maybe not as good as 22-23, but it's only pretty good. I mean,
Um,
they
for
go.
me with USC is like they're going to be a really good team, right? But I think the
Mhm,
schedule is so hard that like if they drop that Penn State game and then if they drop the Ohio State game, then it
yeah,
starts to get scary because you also play what's his face
Indiana.
Indiana.
They go to
So like
Bloomington. Oregon comes to
then
them early on. That
so say you
I
drop that
think
Penn State
yeah.
game, then you drop the Ohio State game. Then it's a make or break possibility with Indiana in Bloomington. Like
Mhm.
I think that's very realistic. I think Penn
And
State's gonna
I
be
mean,
better than people think.
also at the end of the season they go across town to the Rose Bowl to play UCLA. That's not a guaranteed game with
That's not a
Bob Chesney
guarantee.
coming in.
Even though I do have UCLA lower than some people might think, whatever.
All right, yeah. All right. You want to talk Michigan or
Michigan.
I think they're pretty basic.
I love Bryce Underwood. I do.
Kyle
I
Whittingham's
think
good.
he's a good.
Bryce Underwood's
I
good.
think he's good. I think that's a great part of their team. I'm not too sure on their schedule, but I don't know. Something feels
They do play your top four at least because
yeah,
they get Indiana and Penn State at home,
like they might beat
and
Penn
they go
State.
to Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah, so like Ohio State, the game, obviously that's a really hard game. I think
Hmm.
Iowa's not a pushover. I think Oklahoma's
No.
not a pushover. I think
Yeah.
Penn State's not a pushover, and Indiana, and
Yeah.
Oregon, and even maybe if
And
Michigan
they
State upsets them because it's a trap game or something.
yeah. Michigan State is
Like
horrible, but we can get into that
no,
later.
but like you know what I'm saying. You never know with those games. Like say they
Hmm.
lose the Oklahoma game, right, week 2, and then they lose one of the Indiana or Penn State games.
Hmm.
Then you get to those last few weeks of Michigan State, Oregon, UCLA, Ohio State, right? Like
Yeah.
then it starts to get a little weird, right?
Hmm.
That's the only reason I have them so low. And then we finally start agreeing on our rankings in 7, 8, and 9 with
Yeah.
Washington, Iowa, Illinois.
I just
Um,
can I just go through them real quick?
yes, for sure. We probably have the
Washington.
same thoughts.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty good. They have a kind of Penn State E schedule.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously they have the Damon Williams controversy in the transfer portal. He went into the portal. He was looking around, and then he decided to go back. So that's never a good look when that happens. I think people are saying it's not going to affect the team. That's what Jed Fish said. I think it's going to affect the team more than people think because
yeah.
that's a lot for that to happen. But yeah, they're really talented. They're going to win 8 9 games. I have them winning 10 right now. I don't know for sure. But yeah, Iowa, Kirk Ferentz team. Last year they actually had a pretty good offense. I mean, they boat raced Vanderbilt. They boat raced Nebraska too. Um, yeah, they're gonna be good. It's Iowa's never gonna be worse than 8 wins. I don't think. Illinois too.
Um, Real quick, aside from college football, a little breaking news here in the NBA world. Russell Westbrook just announced on his social media his career is over.
Oh wow, where was he on his last year?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Yeah.
He posted a video narrated by Michael B. Jordan. I'll watch it off episode. But the caption reads: "Sometimes you don't even know when you've already watched the end. You had to be there, and now it's over."
Wow. I thought he had a couple years, but
Yeah,
that's
that
how he
sucks. He was
was.
one of my favorite players, man.
Yeah, he
I
was
loved
great.
watching Russ. You know, him and Embiid had that back and forth one year. I still loved him.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
that kind of sucks, but a little shocking. I thought he could have gotten
Mhm.
on a team, but
Yeah.
sorry,
I just
sorry to
think that.
interrupt you. I think you were on Illinois. I think.
Yeah. Bielema, really good coach. They lose Altmaier, but I think they should still win a good 7 or 8 games. And then 10, I have the Bruins. You have the Huskers. Didn't talk at all
Yep.
about that.
Honestly, when you get to the second page of the rankings, I kind of went off like, okay, they're close enough to that ranking. I think their brand maybe makes it a little more feasible to me. Like for me, it's just like all fives for this.
Yeah,
I
I
I,
guess.
I know Nebraska has a pretty good roster. Like they're not the worst team
Hmm.
ever, right? They're not going to be super bad. They're not going to be unbearable to watch. Just like I don't know. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
need to base some of your rankings off fives, and I feel like that the 10 through 18, a lot of it was like I know
Hmm.
Rutgers sucks, so they were 18. I know Purdue's a basketball school, so they're 17. Michigan State,
Yeah.
cool
So, by
logo.
the way, do you want to talk about the Purdue AD? Did you hear what he said?
Oh yeah, he said like if you want to
it
win
was it was
championships, come here.
if you want to win national championships, don't go to Indiana. Come here. And Indiana
What
has
are you
won.
talking about? Honestly,
Purdue also
if
never has
that
a basketball national championship.
if
Indiana
that
has 5.
quote listen, if that quote would have came out when I was making my rankings, it came out after, they would have been 18. That's just
Might have them
bad
in
vibes all
1999.
around. You're gonna have a
Yeah.
bad football season now.
Mhm.
Um,
Which I mean, they have a lot, but
they have a lot. Yeah, they
all
do
right.
have a
So
lot.
yeah, I have 10. I have UCLA, Bob Chesney, college football playoff appearance. They played pretty well in the playoff.
They beat they. I remember last year. I remember them beating Penn State, upsetting them
Who? Oh,
last year.
UCLA. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
UCLA.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Not
That
that
was
everyone didn't.
different coaching
Not
staff,
that
but yeah,
everyone didn't. Not that everyone didn't beat Penn State last year.
yeah. Indiana did. I remember
But
that. Um, yeah, but Bob Chesney's coming in LA. That team had a lot of downs last year, especially the start of the season. I think they lost like 5 straight until that Penn State game, and then Penn State's negative momentum actually was worse than that, so they were able to win that. But they had some strong ups too. I think they won like 4 straight for a stretch, and they lost their last stretch of games. But yeah, we're gonna get. I think we might get some vintage Nico Iamaleava back from Tennessee. He showed signs of that during last season. I think if he gets back into that rhythm, UCLA could be scary. I mean, they face Oregon, they face uh USC. Um, I think yeah, they have some other big games. I'm not sure of all their big games, but they could upset some teams last year. I think that's what this team is made to do. A lot of I don't energy to upset teams. And then 11, I have Minnesota. PJ Fleck's just a good coach. 7 8 wins every year. I think it's just gonna happen again. It's gonna be a good team. And then Nebraska. I feel like they do lose Dylan Raiola. However, they bring in Anthony Calandria, who was
yeah,
the reigning Mountain West Player of the Year. He was at UNLV last year, so he got developed by Dan Mullen, which is always a good thing. And yeah, they're gonna be interesting. It's gonna be harder for Calandro to rack up wins against a Big Ten schedule.
Sure.
Yeah, Matt Rule. I feel bad for him. I think he's a good coach. He's just in a bad spot. But not
Yeah.
that Nebraska's bad.
Um.
It's just he's gotten a bad stretch of luck with Raiola getting hurt last year. I think they could have even made the playoffs last year if Raiola never got hurt. But it's tough.
Um. And then we agree on number 11 with Minnesota.
Yeah,
We disagree
you've.
at 12 with Wisconsin. And again, don't really take my 10 through
Mhm.
18 too
I like.
seriously.
I do. I feel like Wisconsin could be a lot better than people think. We'll talk about them later. But yeah, Luke Fickle's been a really good coach. He kind of brought the wrong energy into Wisconsin. I think if he takes advantage of his new quarterback, I think they could be scary this year. I'll just talk Maryland real quick. Malik Washington. I listened to one of his interviews he had with the CBS Sports guys. I don't know. I really like him. He seems like a really good kid. If you listen to his interview, he's like 19 and he sounds very professional. And it's not. I don't even know. I like him. He's pretty good. Um, Matt Maryland isn't gonna have a whole lot else, but I mean, a good player can make all the difference in college football sometimes.
Sure.
And then 14 I Wisconsin, Colton Joseph from Old Dominion. That's who I was talking about. He was one of the best running quarterbacks last year, and I think for a good upset, one of the most important parts of that, you need a good running quarterback. And week one, Lambeau Field, they're playing Notre Dame. I have the dream where he just runs all over Notre Dame, where Notre Dame's offense isn't as good as people are saying they are. Yeah,
Um, I
I think
want to
Wisconsin
talk about
beat
my
Notre Dame.
14 a little bit because I know it's a pretty big shocker. Everyone else has them at the bottom. It's Michigan State. And obviously, they don't have the roster when you look at it, like a super good roster. But, like, I don't know. Look at, something about them feels like a little better than everyone's saying. And,
But
like,
what about them feels like that?
everything, okay? They have
Yeah,
a
okay,
good
okay.
vibe around them. Like, I don't know. Maybe they, like, win
If
a few games they're not
Northwestern's
supposed to. Maybe they win
if
that. They win against Toledo and then, like, fucking, I don't know. They beat Northwestern or
I don't think they
something,
beat I don't think they beat I
or
think Toledo is a better roster than them right now. I think if Northwestern is stealing your quarterback, you need to take a look in the mirror and just realize you're a basketball program. And that's what they've been
I'm
doing.
just saying that I feel like they'll be better than people think, just for the simple fact of like, hey, maybe, and
Hmm.
it won't matter if on the back half of this 10 through 18 anyway. So maybe they're just a little better. Maybe they surprise some people in some games at like against like a Toledo or like Northwestern or I don't know,
Yeah,
like
if
a
you're
Rutgers. Like,
saying that Toledo's an upset, that's not a good thing. If beating Toledo's an
no,
upset,
and I'm not
that's
saying
never.
they're a good team. I'm just saying they're better than, like, they're not absolute dog crap like everyone's saying. I don't know.
There's just normal dog crap. Okay.
Yeah, they're
All
just normal. Like they're
right.
not the worst state on the planet. They're just like, like
Okay.
they're like a small dog. They're like a small dog crap. Like,
Being the team we both have 15. You have Northwestern below Michigan State, which I think is surprising because Northwestern took Michigan State's only good player last year, Aiden Childs. He's gonna
sure,
be quarterback for the Wildcats.
exactly.
Northwestern, they've been all right
He's
the
gonna
last
re-
couple years. I think
he's
they'll be
gonna
all right
regret
this year.
that. Okay,
They could make a bowl
Childs
game.
is gonna regret that.
You are low on Maryland. You're very
Yeah,
low on Rutgers. You're all right on Purdue.
Rutgers. Stop with
You want to talk
Rutgers.
Rutgers? I'll talk
I think
Rutgers.
I mostly just put Rutgers down there because Michael Penza's a Rutgers guy and they suck. Um,
Michael Penza.
yeah,
That's a blast from the past.
he's in my Spanish class, so I always tell him they suck. And also, I just don't think they're good. I don't like New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I'll talk about Rutgers. They have two good players. I think it reminds me a lot of their basketball team a couple years ago. They have two elite offensive weapons. Antoine Raymond's their running back. KJ Duff's their.
Go, yeah, with Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's just like okay, Michigan State figures it out. And figures what out? I don't know. Purdue sucks. Rutgers sucks. Um, just the vibes around Maryland and Northwestern aren't good. And it's also kind of like who cares? None of these teams are doing anything. Yeah, but this just I know the vibes should be, but they're not. No, exactly. The vibes are going down. That guy sucks. No one likes Chip Kelly. I should have put them at 18 if I knew that. Chip Kelly's awful. He's an awful human being. He is an awful human being. He's an awful human being that ruined a great Eagles team, okay? Chip Kelly on any football team sucks. They suck. I like Aiden Childs a lot, but I don't know. He's going to regret leaving Michigan State. That's all I'm going to say. Um, yes, next episode, it'll be like, what? Like, let me get a calendar up because I'm just too stupid to know what day it's going to be in a week. So next time we record, it'll be like, wait, where's my calendar? It'll be like, why am I in November? Next time we record, it'll be like the 19th through the 21st or something like that, or the 22nd or something. So it'll be like actually like probably the maybe the day the season starts. Um, I guess maybe it's like week 0, but like yeah. But I saw something on ESPN and it starts on whatever. Who cares? Um, yeah, it says August 22nd to September 7th, week 1. So we'll probably do it around then. We'll talk who we think is going to be playoff teams. We'll predict the playoffs based on our bracket, and we'll come up with a national champion as well as we will be talking some fantasy football probably, and start to think about NFL football. But as far as everything else goes, I think that's about all we have to say. No Eagles or Flyers to talk about today. And yeah, all right.